Having a resilient mind is one of the most powerful advantages you can have in life. It acts like an invisible force, keeping you steady when difficulties arise. Mental strength isn't just about intelligence or talent, it's the ability to persevere, confront obstacles head-on, and stay committed even when things don't go your way. This video explores key Buddhist teachings and their connection to 10 habits that can gradually weaken your mental resilience. By understanding and applying these principles, we can strengthen our minds, making them more adaptable and resistant to life's hardships. Habit number 1. Dwelling in negativity. A mind trapped in negativity is like a sky permanently covered in storm clouds. It dims the light of joy and distorts our perception of reality. This habit weakens mental strength by overshadowing every experience with pessimism, making life seem more difficult than it truly is. When negativity dominates our thoughts, we fail to recognize the beauty and opportunities that surround us. It's as if we are wearing tinted glasses. Everything appears dull, even moments that should bring happiness. Over time, this mindset becomes a self-imposed barrier. It convinces us that failure is inevitable and that success is beyond reach. We hesitate to step out of our comfort zones, fearing that any effort will end in disappointment. However, Buddhist philosophy offers a path to overcoming this mental trap. One of its core teachings is mindfulness, the practice of observing thoughts without judgment. Instead of letting negativity consume us, we can acknowledge its presence and gently shift our focus toward moments of positivity. It's not about forcing happiness, but clearing away negativity is like parting the clouds to reveal the sun. One of the most powerful practices in Buddhism is metta, or loving-kindness meditation, which encourages us to send warmth and goodwill to ourselves and those around us. Over time, this habit rewires our thinking, shifting us from a place of negativity to one of kindness and acceptance. Another fundamental Buddhist teaching, impermanence, reminds us that nothing in life stays the same. Just as joy is fleeting, so too are hardships. When we truly internalize this idea, challenges lose their weight because we recognize that they won't last forever. By embracing these teachings, we break free from the cycle of negativity and cultivate a mind that is strong, adaptable, and full of resilience. Habit number 2. Fixating on what's beyond your control. Clinging to frustration over things we can't change is like grasping a burning ember. It does nothing but harm us. When we focus too much on problems instead of solutions, we trap ourselves in a cycle of helplessness. It's like sinking into quicksand. The more we resist, the deeper we get pulled in. Buddhism teaches that everything is temporary, yet complaining tricks us into believing that difficulties are set in stone. We become so caught up in our dissatisfaction that we fail to see that circumstances, like the tides, are always shifting. Instead of feeling powerless, we can train ourselves to redirect our energy toward what we can influence. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up. It means freeing ourselves from unnecessary suffering. Life is full of ups and downs, and no matter how hard we try, we can't control everything. True acceptance isn't about surrendering. It's about learning to dance in the rain rather than cursing the storm. When we embrace what's beyond our control, we release ourselves from the exhausting cycle of frustration and resistance. Buddhist teachings emphasize the power of directing our energy toward what we can influence. Imagine sailing through rough waters. The storm may be fierce, but you still have the ability to steer your boat. Instead of dwelling on things we cannot change, shifting our focus to where we do have control transforms us from passive complainers into proactive problem solvers. Another crucial Buddhist principle is letting go. Think of it like releasing a balloon. There's a sense of relief, a lightness that follows. Letting go isn't the same as giving up. It's about loosening our grip on things that only weigh us down, creating space for growth and progress. By applying these principles, we cultivate a mindset that isn't easily shaken. We learn to move forward, even when life throws obstacles in our path. Habit number 3, keeping your voice locked away. Suppressing your thoughts and emotions is like having a treasure chest, but never opening it. It holds something valuable, yet it remains hidden. When we refuse to express ourselves, we weaken our minds, bottling up our feelings until they become a tangled mess. It's like stumbling through a dark room without turning on the light. Everything feels uncertain and overwhelming. Buddhism teaches us the importance of self-awareness and honest expression. Without them, we lose our ability to connect, to be understood, and to truly understand ourselves. Breaking free from silence doesn't just strengthen our mind. It allows us to live more fully, unburdened by the weight of unspoken thoughts. About retraining the mind to see life in a more balanced, open way. The power of self-expression. Holding back our thoughts and emotions creates a mental cage, weakening our ability to navigate life's challenges. In Buddhist philosophy, authentic self-expression is a cornerstone of inner peace. When we suppress our emotions, it's like shaking a carbonated drink without ever opening it. The pressure builds, until one day, it bursts. That explosion might take the form of stress, anxiety, or an overwhelming sense of disconnect. Buddhism teaches the value of right speech, a practice of communicating with honesty, kindness, and awareness. Words, when chosen wisely, are like seeds. They have the potential to blossom into deeper understanding and stronger connections. By speaking with mindfulness, we create bridges instead of walls, allowing trust to grow between ourselves and others. Breaking free from silence starts with mindfulness. Think of it as a mirror. It reflects our inner world, making us aware of our emotions without bias. When we tune into the present moment, we gain clarity, making it easier to communicate with sincerity and compassion. But expression isn't limited to spoken words. Our body language, gestures, and even the energy we carry speak volumes. These unspoken signals are like an invisible language, conveying our emotions even when our lips remain sealed. By becoming more conscious of how we express ourselves beyond words, we unlock a deeper sense of authenticity. Integrating these principles into our lives teaches us that honest self-expression isn't just liberating for ourselves. It also nurtures those around us. It's like opening a window after a long, suffocating night, letting in fresh air and sunlight. The more we express our truth, the lighter we feel, and the stronger our minds become. Habit number 4, blaming others for your problems. Shifting responsibility onto others is like trying to run a marathon while carrying a backpack filled with stones. Instead of moving forward, we drag ourselves down. This mindset is one of the greatest barriers to growth because it robs us of power. The power to change, to adapt, and to rise above our circumstances. Giving into blame is like surrendering the keys to your own life, letting someone else decide the course while you sit in the passenger seat. Buddhist wisdom sheds light on why this habit drains our mental strength and how we can break free from its grip. In Buddhism, the principle of karma teaches that every action has a consequence. When we blame others, we ignore this fundamental truth, refusing to acknowledge our role in shaping our own reality. It turns us into passive observers instead of active participants in our own journey. Owning our choices means understanding that we have the power to shape our circumstances. Picture yourself as the captain of a ship. You can't control the storms, but you can decide how to steer. Blame convinces us we have no control, when in reality, we always do. The moment we accept that our actions hold weight, we reclaim our ability to make positive changes. One of the most powerful tools in escaping the cycle of blame is forgiveness. But forgiving doesn't mean excusing what was done. It means freeing ourselves from the weight of resentment. Imagine carrying a heavy load on your back for miles. Letting go isn't about forgetting. It's about unburdening yourself so you can move forward. By forgiving others and ourselves, we take a crucial step toward personal growth. Mindfulness, a core practice in Buddhism, sharpens our awareness of our thoughts and reactions. It's like switching on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, we can see where we're going. When we become aware of our tendency to blame, we can pause, reflect, and choose a different response. This shift from blame to accountability is like swapping out a sack of stones for a pair of wings. One keeps you stuck, the other sets you free. By integrating these insights into our daily lives, we step into our own strength, taking responsibility for the course we navigate. Breaking free from blame isn't just about holding others accountable. It's about recognizing the power we have to build resilience, growth, and inner peace. Habit number 5. Dreaming without direction. Daydreaming without action is like staring at a map but never taking a step. While visualization can be a powerful tool, there's a fine line between imagining success and actually working toward it. Building dreams without a solid base is like sketching castles in the sky. Charming, but weightless. This habit weakens the mind by pulling us away from reality, much like chasing shadows in a vast desert. The closer we think we get, the further they slip away. Buddhist teachings help us understand why indulging in fantasies makes us mentally fragile, and how shifting to visualization can ground us in a more positive and constructive mindset. Fantasizing often thrives on unrealistic expectations and wishful thinking. It's like expecting to stumble upon a hidden fortune without ever making a plan to earn it. It places us in an illusion, making the present moment seem dull in comparison. When reality doesn't match these imagined scenarios, disappointment follows. Visualization, however, is about creating clear mental images of tangible goals. Think of it as drawing a map rather than chasing mirages. It gives us a direction to move toward. Buddhism teaches the principles of right intention and right action, emphasizing that real progress happens when vision and effort go hand in hand. By rooting our aspirations in reality, we bridge the gap between dreams and achievable milestones. The concept of impermanence in Buddhist philosophy reminds us that life is in constant motion. Fantasies tend to lock us into rigid expectations of the future, while visualization allows for flexibility and adaptation. It's the difference between trying to grip the shoreline and learning to ride the waves. One keeps us stuck, the other moves us forward. Recognizing the ever-changing nature of life builds resilience and mental strength. Mindfulness is a powerful tool in overcoming the habit of daydreaming without action. It's like putting on a lens that brings the present into sharp focus. Instead of getting lost in unrealistic desires, we learn to appreciate where we are while actively shaping where we want to be. By practicing mindful awareness, we gently steer our thoughts away from empty fantasies and toward purposeful visualization. When we integrate these lessons into our lives, we transition from passive dreaming to active creation. Moving away from fantasies and embracing visualization cultivates a mindset that is not just hopeful, but empowered. By embracing impermanence, mindfulness, and conscious intention, we free ourselves from the trap of building illusions. Visualization, when used wisely, transforms into a force that helps us shape our reality, guiding us with clarity and resilience. But there's another silent habit that weakens us: neglecting personal relationships. Ignoring the people who matter is like owning a garden but never tending to it. Over time, the vibrant life within it fades, leaving behind only dry, withered remnants of what once was. Human connection is not just a luxury, it's the wind that carries us forward. Without it, our journey through life becomes slow, lonely, and heavy. The wisdom of Buddhism sheds light on why distancing ourselves from meaningful relationships leaves us mentally vulnerable, and how we can restore these bonds by investing time and presence. Choosing isolation is like locking ourselves out of a warm, inviting home. We deny ourselves the comfort, support, and sense of belonging that relationships provide. When we fail to nurture these connections, misunderstandings take root like weeds, slowly spreading until they create an unbridgeable gap. This emotional distance drains us, making us feel alone, even in a world full of people. Like a flourishing garden, relationships require care. They thrive when we dedicate time and effort, watering them with our presence and attention. Being fully engaged is like sunlight. It breathes life into our connections, allowing them to grow stronger. Spending quality time with loved ones isn't just an act. It's an investment, one that deepens bonds and strengthens emotional ties. Communication acts as the unseen force that propels relationships forward. It's the wind that fills the sails, carrying us through even the roughest waters. When we actively listen, share our thoughts, and express our emotions, we nourish the foundation of trust and understanding. A relationship devoid of communication is like a riverbed without water. Eventually, it cracks and crumbles. Buddhism teaches us that everything is fleeting, including the time we share with others. Nothing lasts forever, and one day, the chances we take for granted will no longer be there. Recognizing this impermanence should push us to cherish the moments we have, to be present before time slips through our fingers. The true strength of the mind isn't just measured by individual resilience. It's reflected in the connections we nurture. Spending time with loved ones is like savoring a rare delicacy. It becomes even more meaningful when we realize it won't last forever. The awareness of time's fleeting nature pushes us to nurture our relationships, investing in the moments that truly matter. When we prioritize those around us, we weave an unbreakable fabric of support, fortifying both our minds and our lives. Letting go of the habit of neglecting relationships doesn't just fill our days with warmth. It ensures that when we face life's storms, we won't have to navigate them alone. Yet, another silent weakness lurks within us, letting emotions take the reins. When our emotions dictate our choices, it's like being caught in a raging current without an oar. We lose direction, surrendering control to the turbulence. This lack of emotional mastery weakens the mind, turning life's difficulties into overwhelming storms. Without guidance, we risk drifting aimlessly, lost in the chaos. Buddhism offers profound wisdom on why unchecked emotions make us vulnerable and how we can harness emotional intelligence to navigate their unpredictable tides. Mindfulness serves as an anchor, allowing us to witness our emotions without being consumed by them. Imagine standing on the riverbank, watching the water rush by. Instead of being swept away, you remain steady, observing without fear. When emotions rule our actions, it's like being caught in a storm with no sense of direction. The waves toss us around, making it difficult to find clarity. True emotional intelligence is like a well-calibrated compass, helping us recognize, understand, and channel our emotions effectively. It's not about suppressing how we feel. It's about steering through those feelings with awareness and intention. If we let emotions take full control, it's like handing the wheel to an unpredictable force, leaving ourselves vulnerable to misdirection. But with mindfulness as our guide, we transform from helpless passengers into capable captains of our inner world. Practicing presence allows us to experience emotions without reacting impulsively, ensuring that we don't make choices we'll later regret. Buddhism teaches that cultivating a balanced mind is essential, and one way to achieve this is through practices like loving-kindness meditation. Imagine planting seeds of compassion within yourself. Over time, They bloom into a lush garden of understanding, allowing you to meet emotions with patience and wisdom, both for yourself and those around you. Embracing emotional intelligence is more than a skill. It's a form of power. It grants us the ability to face emotions head-on, to learn from them rather than be controlled by them. Instead of being thrown off course by every emotional storm, we become steady navigators, steering with clarity and resilience. When we master our emotions, we don't just protect our peace. We cultivate an unshakable strength that carries us through life's unpredictable waters. Trying to control everything is like attempting to juggle more objects than we can handle. Eventually, something will slip through our fingers. This habit drains our mental energy because it breeds frustration and disappointment. It's like chasing the wind. No matter how hard we try, it remains just out of reach. Buddhism offers profound wisdom on why the obsession with control weakens us and how true power comes from surrendering it. The principle of non-attachment teaches that control is an illusion, like trying to grasp at shifting clouds. They change, they move, and no matter how tightly we hold on, they slip away. Attempting to dominate every aspect of life is no different from trying to grasp water with bare hands. No matter how firm our grip, it inevitably escapes. Surrendering control doesn't mean giving up. It means recognizing that while we can plant seeds in the garden of our lives, we cannot dictate the weather. Storms may come, the sun may shine, but our role is simply to nurture what we can. The more we resist this truth, the more we struggle. Yet when we learn to release our grip, like unclenching a tightened fist, we experience relief and newfound strength. To break free from this pattern, mindfulness becomes a crucial ally. It acts as an anchor, keeping us rooted in the present. By focusing on what is within our grasp and accepting what isn't, we develop resilience in the face of uncertainty. Buddhism reminds us of a simple paradox. The moment we stop trying to control everything, we discover a deeper sense of power. Like loosening our hold on a rope, we relieve the strain and find new freedom in the flow of life. Instead of endlessly micromanaging every detail, we can embrace the natural ebb and flow of existence. In surrendering control, we don't lose our way. We catch the wind in our sails, allowing it to propel us forward rather than resisting its force. Yet, another burden many of us carry is the weight of the past. Dwelling on what's already happened is like lugging around a heavy backpack filled with things we no longer need. It slows us down, making every step forward harder than it needs to be. This habit doesn't just drain us, it traps us in a cycle that keeps us from fully living in the present or anticipating the future with clarity. It's like trying to drive a car while staring only at the rearview mirror, so focused on what's behind that we risk missing what lies ahead. Buddhism teaches us that attachment to the past binds us to suffering. Only when we loosen our grip on yesterday can we embrace the opportunities of today. By releasing the illusion of control and freeing ourselves from the ghosts of the past, we cultivate a stronger, more adaptable mind. One that moves forward unburdened, ready to embrace what life has to offer. Clinging to the past is like walking forward while constantly looking over your shoulder. It's disorienting and keeps us from seeing what lies ahead. This mental habit wears us down, chaining us to things we can no longer change. Buddhism teaches that true strength lies in living fully in the present. Practicing mindfulness is like opening the windows of a musty room, letting in fresh air and clearing away the stagnant weight of yesterday's regrets. Holding on to past events is much like trying to move forward while dragging heavy baggage. It slows us, making every step harder than it needs to be. Old wounds, grudges, and regrets act like bandages clinging to scars that have already healed, keeping us from fully experiencing life. Buddhism offers a powerful antidote: forgiveness. Not just for others, but for ourselves. Forgiveness is like unlocking a door that has kept us trapped, allowing us to step forward without the burdens of yesterday pulling us back. At the heart of this teaching is the concept of impermanence. Nothing remains the same. Life is always shifting, like a river that never stops flowing. Trying to cling to what has already passed is like attempting to freeze water in motion. It stagnates, losing its natural vitality. By accepting change as an inevitable part of existence, we free ourselves from being prisoners of our own memories. A crucial step in breaking free from this pattern is self-compassion. Imagine speaking to a close friend with kindness during their struggles. Shouldn't we offer ourselves the same gentleness? When we stop punishing ourselves for what's already done, the past becomes a guide instead of a captor. Instead of a weight holding us down, it transforms into a lesson that helps us move forward with wisdom. By embracing mindfulness, forgiveness, and self-compassion, we break the invisible chains that keep us stuck in old stories. Letting go of the past isn't about forgetting. It's about stepping into the present with clarity, free to welcome the moments ahead. But another trap of the mind is just as destructive: worrying about what others think. Allowing ourselves to be ruled by external opinions is like carrying a backpack filled with other people's judgments. It's exhausting and unnecessary. It weakens us because it places our sense of self-worth in the hands of those who may not even understand us. Like a ship constantly tossed by shifting tides, we lose our direction when we let every passing comment dictate our course. Buddhism teaches the value of equanimity, remaining steady regardless of the waves of praise or criticism. It's like standing firm on solid ground while the winds of opinion swirl around us. If we build our confidence on unstable foundations, we're bound to crumble under the weight of judgment. But when we develop inner stability, outside voices lose their power over us. True liberation comes when we stop letting the world dictate who we are. By releasing the need for external validation, we find freedom, not in being liked by everyone, but in being at peace with ourselves. When our sense of self is dictated by others, we become as fragile as a house built on shifting sand, unstable, swayed by every storm that passes. True resilience comes from within. By cultivating a steady mind, we no longer allow external judgments to shake us. Relying on others to define our worth is like letting someone else hold the mirror we look into. Our reflection is distorted, shaped by their perceptions rather than our own truth. Buddhism teaches the power of self-acceptance, urging us to embrace our individuality rather than trying to fit into a mold designed by others. It's like wearing clothes that truly suit us instead of struggling to squeeze into something ill-fitting just to gain approval. One of the greatest tools for breaking free from this cycle is mindfulness. When we obsess over external opinions, it's like wandering through an endless maze, lost in the twisting corridors of judgment. Mindfulness acts as a guiding torch, illuminating the way back to ourselves. By staying present, we observe these worries without letting them consume us. A key antidote to this self-imposed burden is self-love. It's like planting seeds of kindness within our minds. Given time and care, they bloom into a garden of unwavering confidence. Recognizing our inherent worth forms a protective shield, deflecting the arrows of criticism and freeing us from the weight of external validation. By embracing inner balance, authenticity, and self-compassion, we cut the strings that once held us captive to the opinions of others. When we stop seeking approval at every turn, we regain control of our own direction, steering our lives with clarity and confidence. Buddhist philosophy offers a profound map for overcoming the habits that weaken the mind. When mindfulness, wisdom, and self-compassion become woven into our daily lives, we rise above negative thought patterns and build lasting inner strength. This journey is an invitation to transform, to grow, and to free ourselves from the invisible chains that hold us back. May these teachings illuminate the path to resilience, purpose, and a life guided by authenticity.